My beloved child, I have called you by name. And in this very moment, our spirits are intertwined in a divine appointment that was written in the stars long before you drew your first breath. Do not look at the screen as if this is a mere coincidence or a trick of a digital algorithm. It is I, your Creator, reaching through the veil of time and space to whisper directly into the depths of your weary soul. I have seen you searching for answers in the dead of night, looking at the ceiling and wondering why your heart feels so heavy and why your path seems so much steeper than those around you. I have heard the unspoken questions that you were too afraid to voice, the cries for a sign that you are not losing your mind and that you are not alone in this vast, cold world. This video is that sign. This moment is the intersection of your exhaustion and my omnipotence. Stay with me, for the secrets of your existence and the reason for your deep-seated isolation are about to be revealed. You are not here by chance. You are here by my decree. I have watched you stand in the middle of family gatherings, surrounded by the laughter of relatives and the familiarity of your own home, yet feeling like a complete stranger in a foreign land. I know the stinging ache of being misunderstood by the very people who should know you best. And I have seen the way you mask your light so as not to blind those who are content to live in the shadows. You have often wondered if there was a mistake in your lineage, if you were perhaps born into the wrong tribe. But I tell you today that there are no mistakes in my kingdom. You were placed there with surgical precision. Before I reveal the immense blessing and the restoration that is currently navigating its way to your doorstep, I ask you to declare your presence in this holy sanctuary. Do not remain silent in the face of my glory. Type "I am here, Lord" or 7007 in the comments right now to open the gates of heaven and signal that your spirit is awake and ready to receive what I have prepared for you, my precious one. The journey of the chosen one is often a solitary road, but you were never meant to walk it without the support of a spiritual family. I am calling you to join this community of believers who, like you, have been set apart for a higher purpose. Take a moment to press the like button and subscribe to this channel as a sacred act of agreement with my word. By doing so, you are signaling to the heavens that you are ready to leave the desert of your isolation and enter the oasis of my presence. This is not just a digital interaction. It is a signal to the spiritual realm that you are claiming your seat at the table of the redeemed. As you align yourself with this message, feel the weight beginning to lift from your shoulders. For the burden you have carried for your entire bloodline is being transferred to my capable hands. I see the tears you have shed in secret, the ones you wiped away quickly before anyone could see your vulnerability. I see the way you have been the pillar for everyone else while having no one to lean on yourself. You are the one I have selected to be the breaker of chains, the one who will stand in the gap for your ancestors and your descendants alike. You feel like you are breaking, but I promise you, you are only being built. You feel like you are falling apart, but you are actually falling into your divine purpose. The rejection you have faced from your kin was my protection, shielding you from becoming like them so that you could become like me. The secrets of your destiny are being unlocked right now, and the miracle you have been praying for is no longer a distant dream. It is a present reality. Do not turn away, for the transformation of your life and the healing of your entire family tree begins in this very hour. My child, I have seen the quiet sorrow that resides in your eyes when you look across the dinner table at those who share your DNA but do not share your spirit. You have lived your life feeling like a puzzle piece forced into the wrong box, always sensing a jagged edge where there should be a smooth fit. There is a specific kind of loneliness that only the chosen one knows. The loneliness of being physically present but spiritually invisible. I have watched you try to shrink yourself, to dim your light so as not to make others uncomfortable with the vastness of your soul. You speak a language of depth, of purpose, and of eternal truths, while those around you are content to dwell in the shallow waters of gossip, mundane worries, and the pursuit of things that rust and fade. I know how exhausting it is to perform the role of the person they expect you to be, to nod at their stories while your heart is screaming for something more, something real, something that touches the hem of the divine. You are not difficult, and you are not strange. You are simply vibrating at a frequency that their ears are not yet tuned to hear. Your heart beats to a rhythm they cannot comprehend. And while that creates a distance between you, it is the very distance that keeps you safe from the stagnation that has held your lineage captive for so long. Think of my servant Joseph, who carried the coat of many colors and the dreams of a future he could barely grasp. He was loved by his father, but despised by his brothers because his very presence reminded them of what they lacked.
I leave with you.
When you share your visions, your hopes, or the small miracles I have performed in your life, you are often met with blank stares, mockery, or a swift change of subject. This is because your growth is a mirror that reflects their refusal to move. I see the way you have retreated into silence, keeping your most sacred thoughts tucked away like pearls because you realized that throwing them before those who do not value them only brings you pain. You crave a connection that goes beyond the surface, a conversation where your spirit can finally breathe.
Look, there
But
is
instead,
more bread.
you find yourself navigating a minefield of superficiality
Blessed us.
and recycled trauma. I want you to know that I am the one who placed that craving for depth within you. I deliberately made you incompatible with the status quo of your household, so that you would never become complacent in a world that is not your home. You were never meant to fit in because you were destined to lead them out.
Look out
I have
there.
seen the times you have reached
Manner
out,
of spirit is
trying to
this?
bridge the gap
It is
with
the
love
Lord.
and understanding,
He commands
only to
the
have your
rain.
hand bitten or your intentions twisted. You have wondered why I placed a lion's heart in a family of sheep, or why I gave a seeker's soul to those who are satisfied with staying lost. It is not a punishment, my beloved. It is a high calling. You are the pioneer, the one sent ahead to scout the territory of the spirit. The friction you feel is the heat of your transformation. Every time you choose kindness over retaliation when you are misunderstood, you are breaking a spiritual seal that has bound your family for generations. Every time you choose to seek me in the secret place rather than seeking validation from people who cannot see your worth, you are growing the muscles of faith that will soon carry the weight of a great blessing. Do not be discouraged by the silence or the distance between your heart and theirs. I am filling that gap with my presence. I am your true kin, and I am the one who truly knows the song your heart is singing. Trust that this season of being the other is preparing you for a position of influence that will eventually save the very people who currently do not understand you. You are the designated cycle breaker, and that role requires a heart that is anchored in me, not in the approval of men. If you were just like them, you could not change them. If your heart beat in perfect sync with the dysfunction around you, you would never seek the healing that I am now pouring into your life. Embrace the holy otherness that I have placed upon you. It is the seal of my ownership. When you feel that familiar ache of being the odd one out, let it be a reminder to turn your gaze upward, where your true identity is stored. I am building in you a resilience that will be necessary for the mantle you are about to receive. The superficial conversations that leave you drained are simply proof that you have outgrown the old wineskins of your past. I am preparing a new wine, a new life, and a new community for you where your depth will be celebrated, not feared. Walk with me in this truth, and let the peace that surpasses all understanding guard your heart from the bitterness of being misunderstood. I have seen the darkness of the hours when the rest of the world is asleep, but your eyes remain wide with the weight of a heavy heart. I have counted every tear that has stained your pillow, those silent witnesses to a pain that no one else in your household acknowledges. I saw you in the bathroom with the door locked, splashing cold water on your face, trying to wash away the traces of a breakdown before you had to walk back out and pretend that everything was fine. You have become a master of the forced smile, an architect of a facade that protects you from the judgment of those who should have been your sanctuary. I know the stinging ache of being the one who gives everything and receives nothing but criticism in return. I have watched you go out of your way to help, to heal, and to hold things together, only to be met with accusations or cold indifference. You feel like a ghost in your own home, a presence that is utilized when needed but ignored when you are the one in need of a shoulder. My child, your tears are not lost in the void. They are written in my book, and they have reached the very throne of my heart. It is one thing to be rejected by the world, but it is a deeper, more jagged wound to be betrayed or belittled by your own blood. I saw the look in their eyes when you spoke of your dreams. The subtle roll of the eyes, the condescending smile, and the way they spoke about you in hushed tones behind closed doors, as if you were the problem simply because you refused to participate in the dysfunction. I saw the betrayal when you shared a secret in confidence, only to have it weaponized against you later. I know the feeling of being the black sheep, the one who is always blamed when things go wrong and never credited when things go right. You have lived under the heavy cloud of being the outcast, the one who doesn't quite fit the mold of the family legacy. But I want you to understand that being an outcast among men often means being a chosen one in my sight. The very hands that pushed you away were unwittingly pushing you closer to me. Every time they excluded you, I was including you in a divine plan they could never fathom. You have been called too sensitive, too dramatic, or unrealistic. But in my eyes, you are the only one who is truly awake to the spiritual reality of your lineage. I have watched you endure the stings of their words, the sharp arrows of their judgment, and the cold shoulder of their exclusion. There were times when you sat in a room full of people and felt more alone than if you were in a desert, because no one truly saw the you that I created. They only saw the version of you that served their narrative or mirrored their own insecurities. I saw the times you wanted to scream, to defend yourself, to demand the respect you deserve. But instead, you chose to zip it, keeping the peace at the expense of your own heart. I saw the internal battle when you were tempted to walk away forever, wondering if there was any love left to fight for. I want you to know that your endurance has not gone unnoticed. I was there in every sigh, every sob, and every moment of crushing loneliness. Do not think for a moment that your suffering has been in vain, or that I have been a distant observer of your misery. I am the God who bottles every tear, and I tell you that the very ground you have watered with your sorrow is becoming the fertile soil for your greatest breakthrough. The isolation you felt was not a prison. It was a cocoon. I allowed the walls to close in so that you would have no choice but to look up and find my hand. The rejection from your family was the pruning necessary to make room for the massive fruit that is about to grow in your life. You are being refined in the furnace of affliction, not to be consumed, but to be made fireproof. Your scars are not symbols of shame. They are your credentials for the ministry of healing I am giving you. Soon, the very people who look down on you will look up to see the glory I have placed upon you. The darkness is passing, and the light of my vindication is breaking over the horizon of your life. Trust me, for I am turning your mourning into dancing. You carry a weight that has no name, a heavy mantle of responsibility that was never officially placed upon your shoulders. Yet you feel its crushing pressure every single day. You are the one who senses the shift in the atmosphere before anyone else does.
Let there be.
You are the emotional sponge of your bloodline, absorbing the unexpressed anger of your father, the silent anxieties of your mother, and the unresolved traumas of ancestors you never even met. It is an invisible backpack, filled with stones that do not belong to you. Yet you have walked miles with them, fearing that if you drop even one, the entire family structure will crumble. I have seen you sitting in the middle of a room, feeling the tension vibrating in the air, acting as the peacekeeper and the mediator, exhausting your own spirit just to keep the storm at bay for others. You have become so accustomed to carrying the world on your back that you have forgotten what it feels like to stand up straight. I see the tightness in your neck, the shallow breath in your chest, and the exhaustion that sleep can no longer touch. I want you to stop for a moment, my precious one. Right now, in this sacred space we are sharing, I want you to perform a small act of faith. Place your hand gently over your heart. Close your eyes and feel the rhythm of the life I have placed within you. Let out a deep breath and feel the constriction in your chest begin to loosen. I am leaning in close to you now, touching the very center of your pain. Can you feel the warmth? I am the great physician, and I am reaching into the places where the weight has bruised your soul. I am whispering to the tension, release. You were never meant to be the trash bin for your family's emotional waste. You were never meant to be the unpaid therapist for those who refuse to do their own healing. As you keep your hand on your heart, realize that I am lifting those nameless burdens off you. You do not have to save them. You only have to follow me. I am taking the stones out of your backpack one by one and replacing them with my light, which is easy, and my burden, which is light. The world sees you as the strong one, the one who always has it together, the one everyone turns to when their lives fall apart. But I see the price you pay for that strength. I see the moments when you are so hollowed out that you feel like a shell, wondering who is looking out for you while you are busy looking out for everyone else. I am, my child. I am the one holding you while you hold them. I am the anchor that keeps you from drifting away when the tides of their chaos threaten to pull you under. You have felt a strange guilt for wanting to be free, as if your joy would be a betrayal to their suffering. But I tell you today, your freedom is the only hope they have. You cannot pull someone out of a pit if you are lying at the bottom with them. By letting go of these nameless burdens, you are not being selfish. You are being obedient to the call of restoration I have placed on your life. This weight you have carried was not a mistake, though it was painful. It has developed in you a capacity for empathy and a strength of character that few possess. You are being trained to handle the weight of my glory, which is far heavier and more magnificent than the weight of human sorrow. You have learned how to navigate the darkness, and soon you will use that knowledge to lead others into the light. But for now, just breathe. Feel the release. The cycle of being the family's burden bearer ends here. I am restoring your youth, your vitality, and your peace. The pressure is fading, and the era of your own flourishing is beginning to dawn. You are no longer defined by what you carry, but by whose you are. You are mine, and I have come to set you free from every weight that hinders you. Keep your hand on your heart a little longer and let my love wash over you like a healing river, for you are being made new in this very moment. My beloved, I have heard the silent question that echoes in your mind during the quietest hours of the night. Why me? Why were you chosen to be the one who feels everything so deeply? Why were you the one designated to carry the torch through the darkest tunnels of your family's history? You look at your siblings, your cousins, and your parents, and you see how easily they seem to navigate the world, how they fit into the molds cast by tradition without a second thought. You see them content with things that leave you starving, and you wonder if I made a mistake in selecting you for this arduous journey. But I tell you today, I do not choose based on what the world sees. I do not look at the height of a person's stature, the strength of their physical frame, or the charisma of their outward personality. While man looks at the outward appearance, I, the Lord your God, look straight into the heart. I saw a frequency in your spirit that matched the magnitude of the miracle I want to perform in your lineage. You were not chosen because you were the loudest, the wealthiest, or the most perfect by human standards. You were chosen because of your capacity to hold the weight of my truth without shattering. Think back to the day when the prophet Samuel went to the house of Jesse. He was sent to anoint the next king of Israel. And as he looked at Eliab, the eldest son, he was certain he had found the one. Eliab was tall, he was strong, and he looked every bit like a king. But I spoke to Samuel and said, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." One by one, the sons of Jesse passed before the prophet, each more impressive than the last in the eyes of men. Yet for each one, my answer remained the same: no. Jesse did not even think to bring his youngest son, David, to the gathering. David was out in the fields, smelling like sheep, forgotten and dismissed by his own father. To his family, David was just a boy, a servant of the mundane, someone not even worth inviting to a divine appointment. But while David was alone in those fields, I was watching him. I saw how he protected the weak, how he sang to me when no one was listening, and how his heart beat with a purity that the stronger brothers could never understand. When David finally walked into the room, I said, "Rise and anoint him. This is the one. You are the David of your family. You are the one who has been left out in the fields while the rest of the family celebrated their normalcy. You were the one dismissed as too sensitive, too different, or too much of a dreamer. But I want you to understand that your time in the field was not a punishment. It was your training ground. While your family members were busy fitting in and seeking the approval of one another, you were developing a secret history with me. You were learning to lean on my voice because the voices of those around you were often cold or critical. I chose you because I knew that when I finally pour the oil of my favor upon your head, you would not use it for your own ego, but to light the way for those still trapped in darkness. I saw in you a resilience that was forged in the fires of your isolation. I saw a heart that was soft enough to be molded by my spirit, yet strong enough to withstand the arrows of generational curses. You were the only one in your line who was willing to question the status quo, the only one brave enough to say, "The cycle ends with me." This choice was made with infinite wisdom. If I had chosen someone who was comfortable in the dysfunction, they would have never sought the exit. If I had chosen someone who was satisfied with the superficial, they would have never dug deep enough to find the hidden treasures I have stored for your bloodline. Your uniqueness, your weirdness, and your loneliness were all indicators of my selection. You feel like a stranger because you are a citizen of a different kingdom. You feel out of place because I have called you to build a new place. I am not looking for those who have it all together. I am looking for those whose hearts are completely mine. Your heart, with all its wounds and its longing for something more, is exactly what I was looking for. You are the vessel I have purified in the secret place of your suffering, so that you can carry the new wine of my presence into your home. Your family may have seen you as the least likely candidate, but I have always seen you as my champion. Do not apologize for the depth of your soul. Do not try to trim the edges of your spirit to fit into their small boxes. I made you expansive for a reason. I gave you that shepherd heart so you could lead your people to still waters, even after they have led you through the valley of the shadow of death. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is your divine radar. Your empathy is not a burden. It is the bridge through which my healing will flow. I saw your heart when you were at your lowest, when you felt like you had nothing left to give. And even then, you whispered a prayer for those who hurt you. That is why it had to be you. That is why it could only be you. You carry a spark of my own nature that cannot be extinguished by rejection or time. Stand tall in the knowledge that you are handpicked by the Creator of the universe. The choice is final, the seal is set, and the destiny I have for you is unfolding even now. You are the answer to prayers prayed by ancestors you never knew. And you are the hope for generations yet to be born. Rise, my chosen one, for your light has come. My precious one, I need you to open the eyes of your spirit and look beyond the veil of what you see with your natural sight. You have often wondered why the people who are supposed to love you the most are often the ones who provide the greatest resistance to your peace. You have wondered why a simple conversation can turn into a battlefield, or why your presence seems to trigger an unexplainable irritation in those around you. Understand this. The battle you are fighting is not against flesh and blood. It is not truly your mother, your father, or your siblings who are your enemies. What you are experiencing is a spiritual friction. You are a being of intense light, and you have been placed in a lineage that has been shrouded in shadows for generations. When light enters a room that has been dark for centuries, the darkness does not leave quietly. It reacts. It recoils. It fights to maintain its territory. The resistance you feel from your family is often the spiritual manifestation of ancient strongholds reacting to the presence of the Holy Spirit within you. You are the intruder in the kingdom of their dysfunction, and the enemy of your soul is using their familiar voices to try and silence the divine call on your life. For decades, perhaps even centuries, your family line has been bound by certain unspoken rules, patterns of poverty, cycles of addiction, spirits of heaviness, and the constant hum of bitterness. These patterns have become comfortable like old, tattered rags. And then you were born. You were born with a heart that refused to settle. You were born with a spirit that craves truth and a soul that demands freedom. Every time you choose to forgive instead of hold a grudge. Every time you choose to speak life instead of gossip. And every time you choose to trust me instead of worrying, you are vibrating at a frequency that threatens the very foundation of the old family system. The invisible enemy knows that if you succeed, the entire house of cards will come crashing down. He knows that if you break free, the chains on your children and your children's children will vanish. This is why the attacks are so personal. This is why the rejection feels so sharp. The enemy is trying to convince you that you are the problem, so that you will extinguish your own light, just to fit in. But I am here to tell you, do not dim your radiance. The friction you feel is proof that you are winning. I have watched you sit in silence, while words were twisted and your character was questioned. I saw the spirit of jealousy that sometimes masks itself as concern or advice from your kin. They do not understand why you are different. And because they cannot explain you, they try to contain you or criticize you. But you must see them through my eyes. They are captives of a system they didn't even know they were in. They are acting out of wounds that were passed down to them like heirlooms of pain. When you see the anger in their eyes or hear the sharpness in their tongues, I want you to look past the person and see the spirit that is trying to keep them bound. You are the chosen intercessor of the lineage. You are the one carrying the key to the prison cells of your ancestors. The resistance you face is the highest compliment the enemy can pay you. It is a recognition of the threat you pose to the kingdom of darkness. You are not a victim of your family's history. You are the designated victor who will rewrite it. Do not allow bitterness to take root in your heart. For bitterness is the very trap the enemy has set to make you like those you are meant to save. If you become bitter, You become a part of the cycle you were sent to break. Instead, I am calling you to a higher level of spiritual maturity. I am teaching you how to love without needing to be understood. I am teaching you how to be a lighthouse that remains steady even when the waves crash against its base.
Unite
A lighthouse
all
does
hearts
not
in
move
love.
because the storm is loud. It simply continues to shine. The silence I have occasionally placed between you and your family is not abandonment. It is a divine quarantine. I am protecting your spirit from the contagious nature of their negativity while I strengthen your inner man.
Vanish.
You are being
Be
trained
gone
to
from
rule
this
in the
place.
midst of your enemies. And sometimes, those enemies are the mindsets held by those in your own household. Stand firm in your identity. You are the one who carries the light of 1,000 suns in your spirit, and no darkness in your bloodline can overcome it. The breakthrough you are seeking for your family will not come through more arguments or better explanations. It will come through your steady, unwavering commitment to the path I have set before you. As you continue to walk in my love, the atmosphere of your home will begin to shift. The strongholds that have stood for generations will begin to crack under the weight of the
May the Lord
glory
bless
I am
you and
pouring
keep
through
you.
you.
May He make
You
His
are the
face shine
strategic
upon you
disruptor.
and give you peace.
Your life
Amen.
is a holy interruption to the enemy's plans. Every time you stand in my presence,
I am healed.
you are pulling down the high places of your family's past. You are the pivot point. Everything that came before you was leading to this moment. And everything that comes after you will be different. Because you had the courage to stand. Do not be weary in well-doing. For you are not just fighting for yourself. You are fighting for the freedom of an entire generation. The battle is heavy because the prize is eternal. Trust me, for the invisible enemy is already defeated by the blood that flows through your spiritual veins. The victory is already written. You are simply walking it out. My precious one, I have led you into a season of profound silence. A vast and quiet desert where the voices of your past have faded into the distance, and the applause of the world is nowhere to be heard. You have felt as though you were being sidelined, as if the life you were promised has been put on hold while everyone else moves forward. You watch others receive their breakthroughs. You see families reconcile, and you witness the prosperity of those who do not even seek my face. While you remain in this hidden place, tending to the small things and wondering if I have forgotten my word to you. But I want you to look closely at the lives of those I have used most mightily. Moses spent 40 years in the backside of the desert, tending sheep that were not his own before he was ready to lead a nation. Even my own son was hidden in a carpenter's shop and then led by the Spirit into the wilderness before his glory was revealed to the world. This hidden season is not a prison sentence, my beloved. It is a divine protection. I have tucked you away in the cleft of the rock so that I could work on the parts of your soul that no one else can see. In this desert, I am doing a work of depth that cannot be done in the spotlight. When a tree grows in the open field, its height is often limited by the winds that buffet it. But when a seed is buried deep in the dark, quiet earth, it develops a root system that can withstand any storm. You have been in the underground phase of your destiny. I have allowed the isolation so that your roots would stop seeking the shallow water of human approval and start seeking the deep, eternal reservoirs of my spirit. I have allowed the silence so that you could finally learn to distinguish my whisper from the clamor of your family's expectations. Every day that you stayed faithful when you felt invisible, every night you chose to trust me despite the lack of evidence, you were growing stronger. You were becoming unshakable. The world sees your hiddenness as a lack of progress, but I see it as the necessary foundation for the massive weight of the blessing I am about to place upon you. As you stand here in the middle of this revelation, realizing that your isolation has been a holy preparation, I invite you to make a move of faith. If you can feel my spirit confirming that you are in a season of divine training, do not walk this path alone. Take a moment to join this family of chosen ones by pressing the like button and subscribing to this channel. This is your way of signaling to the heavens that you have accepted your training and you are ready to walk into the next phase. If you feel led to sow a seed of gratitude for the work I am doing in your hidden places, consider using the Super Thanks feature as an act of planting in the desert. When you give in a season of waiting, you are telling the spiritual realm that you believe the harvest is already on its way. This act of faith breaks the spirit of lack and aligns your heart with the abundance that is currently being prepared for you in the secret place. I am preparing you to handle the weight of the blessing. Many people pray for a breakthrough, but few have the character to sustain it once it arrives. A large building requires a deep foundation, and a great calling requires a great maturity. If I had given you the influence and the restoration you asked for years ago, the pressures of your family's dysfunction would have crushed you. I had to let you face the difficulties, the misunderstandings, and the lonely nights so that you would develop the spiritual muscle necessary to carry the mantle of a cycle breaker. You are learning how to be steady when things are shaky. You are learning how to be peaceful when others are in a panic. This maturity is your entrance exam for the much that is coming. You are passing the test, my child. I see your faithfulness in the small, hidden moments. And I tell you, your public vindication is drawing near. The desert is not your permanent home, it is your training ground. The season of being hidden is coming to an end, and the season of being revealed is about to begin. But do not despise these quiet years, for it was here in the stillness that we became one. It was here that you learned that I am enough. When you finally step out of this desert and into the fulfillment of my promises, you will not be the same person who entered it. You will walk with a different authority. You will speak with a different power. The chosen one who enters the promised land is always forged in the silence of the wilderness. Hold on just a little longer, for the wind is shifting. The scent of rain is in the air, and the desert is about to bloom with the fruit of your endurance. I have used the silence to make you deaf to the enemy's lies and sensitive to my truth. You are ready. Now, as we move from the desert into the declaration of your future, I want you to settle your heart in the peace that only I can provide. The transition from being hidden to being placed can be jarring, but I am with you in every step. You have learned to find me in the emptiness, so you will surely find me in the fullness. The lessons of the desert will be the treasures of your reign. Every tear you shed in the dark has become a diamond in your crown. Every prayer you whispered in the loneliness has been heard in the highest heavens. The gate to your new season is already beginning to swing open. Can you see the light pouring through the crack? Can you feel the shift in your spirit? Your wait was not a waste. It was the price of your power. The desert has served its purpose, and now your destiny is calling you by name. Stand up, brush off the dust of the wilderness, and prepare to walk into the light of my glory. My child, you feel as though you have reached the very edge of your endurance, as if the walls of your life are closing in, and the pressure from your family, your silent battles, and your internal exhaustion has become too much to bear. You have cried out to me in the middle of the night, asking why the friction has intensified just when you thought you were finally gaining ground. You feel as though you are at a breaking point, where the weight of your calling is threatening to crush the very spirit I gave you. But I want you to listen closely to my whisper in this moment of transition. This breaking point is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of my grand reconstruction. A seed must first break its hard outer shell before it can sprout and grow into a mighty oak that provides shade for thousands. A vessel of alabaster must be broken before the precious, fragrant oil inside can be released to heal and anoint. You are currently in the midst of a divine crushing, but it is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to release the hidden glory that I have tucked deep within your soul. A glory that could never be seen as long as you remained whole and comfortable in your old form. I am the master architect, and I never allow a structure to be dismantled unless I have a more magnificent blueprint ready to be executed. The things in your life that are currently falling apart are the parts that were never meant to go where I am taking you. The relationships that are straining, the systems you relied on that are failing, and the identity you built for yourself that is now crumbling. These are all being removed so that I can lay a foundation that is unshakable. I have heard your pleas for help, and this breaking is my answer. I am breaking your dependence on human approval so that you can depend solely on my favor. I am breaking the false peace of your household so that a true, lasting, and holy peace can eventually take its place. Do not fear the sound of things shattering around you. It is merely the sound of the old wineskins giving way to the new wine I am pouring into your spirit. The cracks you feel in your heart are not signs of permanent damage. They are the entry points for my light to penetrate the darkest corners of your lineage and your life. I want you to look back at the journey of Joseph, who sat in the darkness of a dungeon, forgotten by his kin and betrayed by those he shared his blood with. In his moments of deepest despair, he could not see the golden throne of Egypt that was waiting for him. He could not see that his breaking in the pit and the prison was the very path to his making as a deliverer. But I was there in the shadows, weaving every betrayal, every lie spoken against him, and every tear he shed into a tapestry of salvation for an entire nation. What people intended for your harm, the words meant to belittle you, the actions meant to discard you, and the neglect meant to hollow you out, I am already turning for your absolute and total good. I am repurposing the evil of your past into the platform for your future. The very hands that tried to bury you were actually planting you in the fertile soil of my purpose. You are not a victim of a broken family. You are the catalyst through which I am repairing the breach. This intense friction you are experiencing within your family is the precursor to a massive, holy explosion of truth. For too long, toxic patterns have been swept under the rug, and shadows of deception have been allowed to dwell in the corners of your lineage. The pressure I am allowing is forcing the hidden things to the surface. It is a divine disruption of the status quo. Soon, the masks will fall away, and the secrets that have kept your bloodline bound for generations will be exposed to the searing light of my grace. While it may feel chaotic and agonizing in the moment, know that this is the spiritual surgery required for total healing. I am using the very rifts that have separated you from your kin to create a path for a reconciliation that is based on reality and truth, not on pretense and shallow smiles. You are the one I have trusted to stand in the gap while the old world falls away. Because you stood firm in the fire of this breaking point, the heat is now melting the chains of those who didn't even know they were captive. The breakthrough you have been desperately praying for is manifesting through this very conflict. You are witnessing the last stand of the enemy's strongholds before the new era of your life begins. I am recalibrating your spiritual eyes so that you no longer see yourself as a casualty of circumstance, but as a co-laborer in a heavenly reconstruction project. The rubble of your current pain is the raw material for your future joy. I am putting the pieces of your life back together, but I am not restoring them to their original state. I am adding my divine strength to your human weakness, my eternal peace to your temporary turmoil, and my limitless abundance to your perceived lack. You are emerging from this breaking point with a resilience that cannot be shaken and a testimony that will set captives free. Trust the hands that are molding you, for they are the same hands that stretched out the heavens and called the stars by name. Your reconstruction has already begun, and the glory of this new house shall far exceed the glory of the old. Stay steady, my beloved, for the Master is at work. My child, I am standing at the threshold of your history, holding a golden seal that bears the insignia of heaven. For too long, you have felt like a runner in a relentless relay race of pain, being handed a baton of sorrow, poverty, and dysfunction that was started by generations you never even knew. You look at your family tree, and you see the same knots of anger, the same tangled roots of addiction, and the same shadows of lack repeating themselves like a broken record across the decades. You have often felt the terrifying pull of these ancient gravity wells, fearing that you too will eventually succumb to the same fate as those who came before you, trapped in the same cycles of self-sabotage and regret. But I have intercepted the baton. I have stepped into the middle of the track of your life, and I am declaring with the voice of authority, no further. The cycle of trauma that has haunted your bloodline for 100 years has met its match in the light of my presence within you. I am placing my seal upon your spirit, a divine boundary that the enemy cannot cross and that the past cannot bypass. You are the sovereign border of a new territory, and from this hour, the transfer of ancestral darkness ends at the soles of your feet. Think of the vines that have strangled your family's potential, the spirit of poverty that whispered to your ancestors that there would never be enough, the spirit of sickness that claimed your body because it claimed your elders, and the spirit of division that kept your kin at each other's throats for reasons they can no longer remember. These were not mere accidents of life. They were spiritual strongholds built to keep your family from the abundance of my kingdom. But look at your hands, my beloved. I have given you the hammer of my word to shatter those walls. I am speaking over your finances right now. The generational spirit of lack is being evicted, and a season of divine provision is taking its place. I am speaking over your body. The genetic codes of infirmity are being rewritten by the breath of my spirit. I am speaking over your mind. The irritability, the depression, and the rage that you inherited are being washed away by the river of my peace. You are not just a survivor of your family's past. You are the architect of its new future. You are the one who says no to the shadows so that your children and your children's children can say yes to the light. This seal I have placed upon you is a sign to the spiritual realm that you are under new ownership. The enemy looks at your lineage and sees a history of open doors he could walk through at will. But when he looks at you, he sees a door that is bolted with the glory of the Most High. You are the first in your line to truly see the invisible chains, and because you see them, you have been given the authority to break them. I am cleansing the very marrow of your bones from the echoes of generational guilt and shame. You no longer have to carry the weight of what your grandfather did or what your mother suffered. Their story is not your script. I have given you a fresh page and a golden pen, and I am inviting you to write a story of victory, of wealth, and of wholeness. The black sheep tag that the world and your family gave you was actually my way of identifying the one who would lead the flock out of the wilderness. You are the pivot point of your entire ancestry, the moment where the curse was swallowed up by the blessing and the shadow was defeated by the dawn. As this truth settles into your soul, feel the liberation flowing through your veins like a cooling stream. The chains are not just loosening, they are dissolving in the heat of my unconditional love. You are the chosen lineage breaker, the one I have anointed to stand at the mouth of the cave and command the darkness to flee. Do not look back with regret or fear. For the past has no power over the one who carries my seal. You are covered, you are protected, and you are being propelled into a level of freedom that your ancestors only dreamed of in their deepest prayers. This is the day of your deliverance. This is the moment the record stopped skipping and a new song of hope began. Walk with your head held high, for you are the one who changed the trajectory of an entire bloodline forever. I have watched you struggle against these invisible forces for years, and I am telling you that the struggle is over. The seal is set, the decree is signed in the heavens, and your life is now a testimony to my redeeming power. It is done, it is sealed, and it is final. You are free. My precious child, listen to the sound of the wind shifting in your favor. For every year that you lived in lack, for every month that you struggled to make ends meet while others seemed to flourish effortlessly, I am preparing a multidimensional restoration that will leave you breathless. I have watched you give when you had nothing, and I have seen your heart remain generous even when your bank account was empty. I am now moving to break the financial dams that have held back your inheritance. This is not merely about money. It is about the double portion for all the trouble you have endured. I am aligning the stars of opportunity to shine upon your path. I am opening doors that no man can shut. Doors to careers, businesses, and creative ventures that will not only provide for you, but will make you a source of blessing for your entire community. You have passed the test of being faithful in the little, and now I am entrusting you with much. The season of barely making it is dissolving, and the era of more than enough is being birthed in your life right now. But my restoration does not stop at your storehouse. It is reaching into the very heart of your household. I know the stinging ache of being looked down upon by your own kin, of being the one they whispered about as if you were a failure or lost cause. I have heard the condescending remarks and seen the way they bypassed you when honor was being distributed. But mark my words, I am about to change the narrative of your life in their eyes. I am putting a mantle of favor upon you that will be undeniable even to those who have been blind to your worth. The very people who once mocked your dreams and your faith will soon be the ones standing in line to ask for your wisdom. I am not doing this to stroke your ego, but to showcase my glory through you. You will no longer be the weird one or the struggling one in the family tree. You will be the pillar. I am restoring the respect that was stolen from you. And I am doing it in such a way that they will know, without a shadow of a doubt, that the hand of the Lord is upon you. I am mending the broken bridges of your relationships, but I am doing it on your terms and according to my timing. For those family members who have hearts that are still soft, I am sending a spirit of conviction that will lead them to seek your forgiveness. You will see unexpected phone calls, letters of apology, and reconciliations that seemed impossible just a few months ago. I am turning the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the children to the fathers. For those who remain hardened, I am building a wall of divine protection around your peace, ensuring that their negativity can no longer penetrate your sanctuary. You will walk in a new level of authority, where you are no longer seeking their validation because you are fully validated by me. This is the great reversal. Those who were last are being moved to the front. The one who was rejected is becoming the cornerstone of the family's new foundation. Prepare yourself, for the manifestation of this restoration will come in waves. First, a wave of inner peace, then a wave of unexpected provision, and finally, a wave of relational healing that will solidify your position as the leader of your generation. You have been the hidden treasure of your lineage, buried under the weight of their misconception. But the soil is being cleared away. The world, and especially your family, is about to see the brilliance of the gem I have been polishing in the dark. Do not be afraid to step into this new level of abundance. Do not feel guilty for the blessings I am pouring out. You have paid the price in tears and endurance, and this is your harvest. Every debt is being settled, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. Your name is being cleared, your coffers are being filled, and your heart is being made whole. This is my promise to you, my chosen one. I am making all things new, and the best is not just yet to come. It is beginning this very moment. My beloved child, pay close attention to the air you breathe and the thoughts that enter your mind in the coming moments. For the gears of heaven have shifted, and the manifestations of your faithfulness are beginning to materialize in the physical realm. Within the next 24 hours, you will experience a supernatural surge of peace that surpasses all human understanding. A sudden lifting of the heavy fog that has clouded your vision for months. You will find yourself breathing deeper, standing taller, and feeling a strange, wonderful certainty that the battle is finally over. Do not dismiss this as a mere mood swing. It is the spiritual residue of my hand moving the obstacles out of your way. Look for a small but significant sign, an unexpected message, a symbolic bird or flower, or a specific word spoken by a stranger that confirms what I'm telling you right now. I am sending you a kiss from heaven to let you know that I am in the room with you, and that the drought of your spirit has come to an end. This first 24-hour window is the awakening of your hope, the moment where your faith transforms into sight. As you move into the next 3 days, prepare your heart for the unthinkable in your family dynamics. I am softening hearts that were once like granite. You may receive a phone call from someone you haven't spoken to in years, or a sudden, unprompted apology from the very person who caused you the most pain. This is not a coincidence. It is my spirit performing a divine surgery on your lineage while you sleep. I am bringing to the surface the truth that has been suppressed. And I am compelling those who have wronged you to see you through the lens of my favor. During these 3 days, you might also see a sudden provision, a financial blessing, a resolved debt, or an opportunity that seems to drop from the sky. This is my way of showing you that the lack of your past was a temporary season, and the abundance of your future is a permanent promise. Do not question how it happened. Simply open your hands and receive it with a heart of radical gratitude. For you are being rewarded for the years the locusts have eaten. By the end of the 7th day, the very atmosphere of your home and your life will feel completely different. The tension that used to greet you at the door will be replaced by a sense of order and serenity. You will notice that the people who used to trigger your anxiety no longer have power over your emotions. You are being reestablished in their eyes as a person of substance, wisdom, and strength. The 7-day mark represents the completion of a cycle of suffering and the inauguration of a cycle of glory. You will look back at this moment and realize that this video was the threshold you crossed into your new life. Every word I have whispered to you is coming to pass with precision and power. The chosen one is no longer the victim of the family's narrative. You are now the author of the family's legacy. I am marking this week as the time of your great emergence. I urge you to stay alert and keep your spirit in a posture of expectation. The enemy will try to send a distraction or doubt to make you miss these signs. But you must remain anchored in my word. Do not dig up the seed you have just planted by speaking words of negativity or fear. Instead, declare throughout these next few days, I see the shift. I receive the sign. I am walking into my restoration. The timing is perfect because my love for you is perfect. You have waited long enough in the shadows, and now the sun of my vindication is rising with healing in its wings. The shift is not coming It is already here. Can you feel it? It is the vibration of my power, working within you and around you. The next 7 days will be the most significant week of your year. Trust me, for I am the God who never misses a deadline and who never breaks a promise. Your new season has officially begun, my beloved. The time of your hiding has officially come to an end. For years, you were content to be the quiet one, the outsider, or the one who stayed in the shadows to avoid the sting of judgment. You accepted the label of the black sheep because it was easier than trying to explain a light that no one else could see. But I am changing your title today. You are no longer the family's anomaly. You are its lighthouse. I am placing you upon a hill where your radiance can no longer be ignored. The very attributes that made you weird to them, your sensitivity, your unwavering faith, your refusal to compromise, are now the very qualities they will desperately seek when their own worlds begin to shake. I am making you a witness of my glory, a living testament to what happens when a soul yields completely to the potter's hand. You will not have to argue for your position or demand respect. The peace that radiates from your presence and the wisdom that flows from your lips will be all the evidence they need. You are moving from the back of the line to the front, not to gloat, but to guide. I want you to remember my words. Let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. This is the mantle you now carry. Your life is becoming a living epistle, a book that your family will read when they are tired of their own stories of brokenness. When they see how I have restored your finances, how I have healed your mind, and how I have anchored your soul in a joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. They will be forced to acknowledge that there is a power working in you that they do not possess. You are the bridge I am building so that your parents, your siblings, and your children can walk across the chasm of their own doubt and find their way back to me. You are the proof that my promises are yes and amen. Your success will be their invitation. Your healing will be their hope. Do not be afraid to shine brightly, for your light is not your own. It is mine, reflected through a vessel that was brave enough to be broken. I am giving you a new level of spiritual authority in your household. In the past, you spoke and were ignored. In this new season, when you speak, the atmosphere will shift. When you pray, things will move. You are becoming the spiritual matriarch or patriarch of your generation, regardless of your age or your birth order. I am bypassing human traditions to honor divine faithfulness. You will find that family members who once avoided you will now come to you in secret, asking for your prayers and your perspective. They will sense that you have a direct line to the throne of grace. Handle this new influence with the same humility you learned in the desert. Use your platform to lift them up, not to look down on them. You have been chosen to be a conduit of my unconditional love, a channel through which the parched soil of your family tree will finally receive the rain of my spirit. You are the witness that the curse is dead and the blessing is alive. Stand tall in this new position, my precious one. The days of hanging your head in shame or feeling like a burden are over. You are a royal priesthood, a chosen generation, a person of destiny. The glory that I am pouring into your life is meant to be shared, to be seen, and to be celebrated. As you walk into your home, your workplace, and your community, carry yourself with the dignity of one who knows they are backed by the armies of heaven. You are not just a survivor, you are a sign and a wonder. The transformation of your life will be the catalyst for the salvation of your entire lineage. This is the weight of the glory I promised you, the weight of being the one through whom an entire generation finds its way home. You are my witness, my beloved light bearer, and your radiance is just beginning to dawn. Prepare to be amazed at how I use your story to rewrite the history of everyone you love. My precious and chosen one, we have reached the pinnacle of this sacred encounter. The moment where the words, "I have spoken over you," transition from prophecy into permanent reality. I want you to feel the weight of my glory settling in the room where you sit. A heavy, golden presence that signals the end of your old life and the definitive beginning of your reign. I have seen the thousands of steps you took in the dark, the moments you wanted to give up, and the times you felt your heart withering under the heat of rejection. But look at you now. You are standing at the threshold of a new kingdom. I have engraved your name upon the palms of my hands, and I have woven your destiny into the very fabric of eternity. This is not a temporary relief. It is a permanent shift in the spiritual geography of your family. The heavens are open over you, and the decree has been signed in the blood of the Lamb. You are redeemed, you are restored, and you are mine forever. I am stationing my heavenly hosts at the four corners of your home this very second. I am appointing warrior angels to stand guard at your doors and windows, creating a perimeter of fire that no spirit of darkness, no generational curse, and no weapon formed against you can ever penetrate. When the enemy looks at your house, he will no longer see a target. He will see a sanctuary marked by the seal of the living God. I am cleaning the atmosphere of your residence, scrubbing away the echoes of old arguments, the lingering scent of despair, and the heavy residue of ancestral trauma. In their place, I am pouring the fragrance of my peace and the oil of my joy. Your home will become a place of rest, a hospital for the broken, and a school for the spirit. You are the high priest of this new altar. And as you walk through your rooms, your very shadow will bring healing to those who dwell there. You have been obedient in the hidden places, and now I am calling you to an act of radical obedience in the light. This is the moment to activate the blessing in your physical body and your bloodline. I want you to make a declaration that will echo through the halls of your lineage. Do not let this moment pass without a physical sign of your agreement. Type 1, "I'm ready" in the comments right now to trigger the release of the restoration I have promised. This is more than a comment. It is a spiritual activation, a holy yes that resonates in the ears of the Father. By typing these words, you are signaling to the angels of provision and the spirits of restoration that the way is clear. You are telling the universe that the chosen one has accepted the mantle. Feel the electricity of my spirit as you commit your destiny to this digital and spiritual altar. I have seen your faithfulness, and I will not let your labor be in vain. Every seed you have sown in tears, every sacrifice you made for the sake of love, and every time you chose me over your own comfort is being multiplied and returned to you. The double portion is not a metaphor. It is your new bank account balance, your new level of health, and your new depth of peace. I am sealing this prophecy over you with the signet ring of heaven. It is a lock that no human hand can pick and no demonic force can break. You are no longer a victim of your family tree. You are the victory of my grace. The cycle of the past is broken, and the flow of the future is pure. From this day forward, you will walk in an unshakable confidence, knowing that the Creator of the universe is your shield and your exceeding great reward. Now, my beloved, as we seal this covenant, I invite you to make one final act of faith to lock this blessing into your life forever. Type Amen, or it is done to close the book on your old season and open the scrolls of your destiny. Let these words be the final nail in the coffin of your struggles. And as you step out into this world, remember that you are never walking alone. You are part of a royal family, a community of light bearers who are changing the world one heart at a time. Press the like button and subscribe to this channel to stay anchored in this divine flow, ensuring that you never have to face the shadows by yourself again. Welcome to the family of the redeemed. Welcome to the life you were always meant to live. I have chosen you, I have called you, and I will keep you until the end of time. Go in peace, for the war is won and the glory is yours.